The Smashing Pumpkins' third release, 1995's Mellon Collie and the Infinite Sadness, would represent a commercial high for the group. But the tour for the record was an emotional roller coaster. They would run into trouble with drummer Jimmy Chamberlin, who was dealing with drug addiction, and they would also lose their touring keyboardist Jonathan Melvoin to an overdose. The band's turmoil wasn't just limited to their own bandmates, but also included their fans as well. During a spring stopover in Dublin, Ireland, one of the concertgoers would end up losing their life, and to some fans, the band has never been the same since. Prior to the events in Dublin, the Smashing Pumpkins were known to be a band who was against moshing and other ritualistic rock and roll behavior. In fact, from 1994 to 1996, there was a fair deal of press coverage on moshing, with a big focus being on recent fan deaths and injuries. These events would result in litigation against venues, promoters, and the artists themselves. In fact, the Smashing Pumpkins were known to be openly against moshing, with Corgan being quoted as saying in the mid-90s, "Its time has come and gone. It ceased to be a spontaneous act." A year prior to the Dublin show, Corgan would actually be quoted by MTV as telling an audience in Chicago, "I just want to say one thing to you, you young college lughead types. I've been watching people like you slugging around other people for 7 years, and you know what? It's the same. I wish you'd understand that in an environment like this, and in a setting like this, it's fairly inappropriate and unfair to the rest of the people around you. I and we publicly take a stand against moshing." The band's show at the Point Theatre in Dublin, Ireland would take place on May 11th, 1996. News reports have varied on the exact crowd size, but it seems to range anywhere between 7,000 to 8,500 people. The concert promoters claimed the venue was within capacity requirements for the show, and there were about 110 security guards working the event for a gig that was a general admission affair, meaning there were no chairs on the main floor. Even before the Smashing Pumpkins hit the stage, there seemed to be issues during Filter's opening set. The police in Dublin, in fact, would hold an inquiry following the tragic concert and heard testimony from concertgoers. One concertgoer named Robert Acton would tell the inquiry a number of people were coming in, people were sitting in the balconies, and they started moving down. I was being squashed and crushed. A guy fell down, I put my hand to help him up. The crowd was moving from side to side. Someone kicked me in the bottom of the nose and I lost consciousness. 4 guys were trying to lift me and get me to the Red Cross. I could not breathe. Another attendee for the inquiry would be quoted as saying, "There was no room whatsoever for dancing. People were preoccupied with keeping themselves straight and alive." Throughout the Smashing Pumpkins set, the crowd was quite rowdy, with Corgan having to stop the show several times. The first stoppage would happen 3 songs into the band's set, and here's what Billy said.
"Hello. Listen, okay? You gotta listen to me, really, okay? There's a bunch of people down here that have fallen down or are getting crushed. You have to move back, please. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I know you don't want anybody to get hurt. Please move back. We gotta let these people up."
Then 5 songs later, Billy stopped the show again for 6 minutes to try to calm the crowd down.
You have to understand something, okay? Your friends, your neighbors, your schoolmates are getting hurt. I'm watching people come out of here who are like nearly unconscious or close to unconscious. I in good conscience cannot continue this concert and watch people keep coming out getting hurt, okay? So we have 2 choices. One choice is to stop the concert. I don't want to stop the concert. I know you don't want to stop the concert, okay? So we'll keep playing the show. But I guarantee you, if you continue to mosh and you continue to crowd surf and you continue to push and I see more people come out, we're just going to have to stop the concert, okay? Now I'm telling you because I care, and I'm telling you because we want to play the concert.
Then 5 songs later, Corgan would stop the show, with word getting to the band that a young fan was seriously injured. The Smashing Pumpkins would end up cutting their set short that night, playing only 11 songs that ended with the track Cherub Rock. Here's Corgan and bassist Darcy Retsky addressing the crowd at the end of the show.
You gotta listen to me one more time, okay? I know this is so redundant, okay? Okay? A lot of people got hurt. Somebody may even died, okay? Okay? We're totally freaked out, okay? We're human beings. We cannot stand up here and continue to play. We're totally freaked out. Do you understand? We cannot continue the concert We're very sorry. If you like us, if you respect us, you'll understand, and just go home, and we'll figure it out later, okay? We're very sorry, but it's like too weird, it's too crazy, and it's too dangerous.
I see people up here with smiles on their faces. It's not funny.
It's just a stupid concert, okay? We'll figure it out later. We'll come back and play, whatever, okay?
The concert is not more important than people's lives. You guys gotta chill. Look at...
As for the fan that was seriously injured, a 17-year-old girl named Bernadette O'Brien would be crushed by the crowd and suffer a heart attack. She had attended the show with 2 other people, and the girls had made it a point to meet outside the venue if any of them were lost or got separated. When Bernadette failed to turn up, her party had heard on the radio that a girl had been critically injured. They would call the local Mater hospital and discovered that Bernadette was on life support. Her parents would arrive from Cork to the hospital at 4 in the morning following the show. She would die the following afternoon after suffering massive internal injuries. 5 other people would be taken to the same hospital from the same concert, but they would be released having suffered minor injuries. The band were scheduled to play their next show in Belfast, but cancelled it out of respect to Bernadette and her family. They would also issue a statement that they were, and I quote, saddened and shocked, and extended their deepest condolences to Bernadette's family and friends. By 1996, moshing had been linked to 4 deaths worldwide and a dozen more injuries. While some venues tried to take a stance against moshing and open floor seating, some artists, including 9 Inch Nails and, believe it or not, even the Smashing Pumpkins, wanted to keep open floor seating. Keep in mind, this was after Bernadette's death. The litigation that came with the fan deaths and injuries would end up resulting in promoters' insurance premiums increasing as high as 500% since 1983. But some concertgoers, including a 15-year-old kid at the time named Joe Anderson, would tell the St. Louis Post-Dispatch in 1996, if you're willing to get in, you should be willing to get hurt. Anderson and his friends had all been injured moshing and would even share their war stories, with one chipping a tooth, while another claimed to have suffered whiplash. The Smashing Pumpkins would return to Dublin 2 years later in 1998, and here's what Corgan had to say to a local interviewer about the tragedy looking back.
Okay, it's a hard question, which I kind of have to ask you. It's the first Dublin show since the point and the tragedy. So just, how do you feel about it, coming back to it?
Well, returning to Dublin is definitely, I have been here since to visit, so that helped. But returning here with the band, definitely brings up a lot of mixed emotions. I feel very, very intensely for, the family of Bernadette, because, just us being here, of course, is just a reminder of all that and brings that all back up. It certainly brings it all back up to the surface for me as well. But, it was the most terrible, horrible thing you can imagine. And it still burns in our hearts very deeply. And we talk about it often. And it certainly changed the way, that we approach everything from a concert level. The thing I'll say, though, is the easiest thing to do would be to never come back. Just pretend it never happened. And we hope that, in a way, us coming back here to play will heal something of it, and we'll embrace it as best you can, because we don't want to us it would be more disrespectful to not come back and pretend like it never happened and just hide away in our limos, It's very difficult for us, but we love the people here in Dublin. We love the people in Ireland. I'm of Irish descent. It means a lot for me to play here, and it's very difficult. But, the reason we didn't play Dublin for the first 4 years, or in Ireland at all in the first 4 years that the band was putting out albums, because people told us if you go to Ireland, you're going to get blown up by a bomb. And so we believed in Ireland enough to want to come against everyone's advice. And of course, we found out that that was not the case. So I guess in this sense, we're coming back and saying, please believe in us, and hopefully we'll never forget. There's no forgetting. it'll never go away, you know.
This wasn't the only tragedy to happen at a Smashing Pumpkins concert, as in September of 2007, at a show in Vancouver, Canada, a fan would be killed either for moshing or crowd surfing. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again on Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.